So this is from a year 10 paper, and it's some algebra questions here. We've got some different types of expressions here, and using the algebraic skills that we've learned, we've talked about, we've got to get these factorized. So if you go through them one by one, again, these are going to be, probably one or two markers, or maybe two or three markers, I'd say, in your exams. But if you go through the first one, we're given 12x squared minus 7xy minus 12y squared. Okay, and we have to factorize this. Now, this is an example of a non-monic trinomial, right? A non-monic quadratic trinomial, meaning that there's three expressions. We've got something squared, something something multiplied by itself, something multiplied by something else, sorry, and then something squared. Now, the reason it's non-monic is because in front of these expressions, or in front of the terms which have powers on them, there's a coefficient, right? So it's not just one. We've got 12 as a coefficient in this case. So the only difference in that is that basically we need to find a number that adds up to -7, so that stays the same. You need to find the number that adds up to -7, but the number now needs to multiply to 12 times 12. So it needs to multiply to the coefficient of this times the coefficient of this, which is 144. Okay, so if we're looking for basically two numbers. We're looking for two numbers that add to -7, and the same two numbers should multiply to give us -144. So yes, -144. Okay, so those two numbers would be 16 and 9, and because we want our addition to be negative, that means the bigger number is going to be negative. So we're going to have -16 plus 9, and -16 plus times 9 equals 144 as well. Okay, so we're going to use these two numbers to factorize this expression here. So if you go into the next step, I'm going to do everything step by step. I'm not going to skip anything, so you guys understand this. So it's going to be 12 x squared, and then we're going to do minus 16xy plus 9xy minus 4y squared. So as you can see, we haven't changed anything in this expression. Minus 16xy plus 9xy still equals to -7xy. The whole point of this is because I'm just changing from 3 expressions to 4 expressions. So now we can factorize in pairs. Okay, so if you look at these first two things, 12x squared minus 16xy, what's common? What we have common is we have 3 as a common factor in the number, and then we've got x in both of those expressions as well. So inside we've got 3x, and then, sorry, outside we've got 3x, and then on the inside we've got 4x minus 4y. Sorry, there's a mistake there. The highest common factor is not actually 3, it's actually 4. Sorry about that, let's fix that. Okay, so we've got 4x as our expressions, and then inside we've got 3x minus 4y. And then if we look at the second part, if we look at these two expressions, again, the highest common factor for the numbers is 3, and then we've got y common. So then inside the bracket, we've got 3x minus 4y. And as a little sanity check, you know that these two things, these two brackets inside, they should always be the same. So then, yeah, this is equal to 4x plus 3y, and then 3x minus 4y. And that's your completely factorized form for the first question. Okay, moving on to part B. So for part B, we've got a minus 2 squared minus a plus 2 squared. And we've got to factorize this one. Now, this looks a bit strange, but essentially what it is it's an extinction of difference of 2 squares. So if you guys remember, difference of 2 squares basically states that if you have something squared minus something else squared, and that's just equal to a plus b, a minus b. Okay, so this is the same thing here. If you can see, even in this expression as well, what we have is we have an expression squared minus another expression squared. So to simplify that or to factorize that, what we would do is we would do this first expression. So this is a minus 2 plus the second expression plus a plus 2. And then we would times that by, so that's this part where we're added the two expressions. And now we're going to subtract the two expressions. So now we're going to have a minus 2 minus a minus 2. So a plus 2. Okay? And then if you go through that, a minus 2 plus a plus 2, so the minus 2 plus 2 cancels out. So here we just have 2a, and then over here, a minus 2, and then we have a, and minus a cancels out, and then we just have 2, negative 2, which is negative 4. And then negative 4 times 2a is just equal to negative 8a, which is your answer for part B. Okay, then if you go through part C, which I'll just do here, now we have x squared minus 25y squared plus 2x plus 10y. Okay, so I'm just going to write that down again. X squared minus 25y squared plus 2x plus 10y. So we've got four expressions here. So the easiest way to do this would be if we can see these first two expressions, if we can factorize this, and then we can factorize this. So again, we can factorize in pairs. And you might be thinking x squared and 25y squared. There's nothing common there. But this is again another example of the difference of two squares that we talked about in the previous question. So if we look at this, x squared is obviously a square in itself. And then 25y squared, we can change that to 5y all squared, right? 25 is also a square number. So now this becomes our first expression. This becomes our a, essentially, and this becomes our b. So we have a squared minus b squared. We have something squared minus something else squared. So we can factorize this using this formula again, right? So we can do x plus 5y, and then in brackets, x minus 5y. Okay, and next is the first two expressions factorized. And then to factorize these two, we just look at the common factor. So the common factor is 2. And then we've got x plus 5y in brackets. Now, essentially what we can do is we can treat these two as separate expressions. So we can treat this is one expression, and this is one expression. And if you can see in both of them, we have x plus 5y as a common factor. So if we take out that common factor, x plus 5y, then inside the brackets, we have x minus 5y left over. And over here, we have plus 2 left over. And that's our final factorized form for question C. So those are some questions there which you might get an exam to factorize these sorts of algebraic expressions using different things like trinomials and difference of two squares, and your normal factorizing skills.